Welcome back, Bachelor Nation. We have a new episode of After the Final Rose, a siblings podcast with Alana Furco and Dante, my co host. We are so excited to record. We got a new season, a new Bachelor, brand new to Bachelor Nation, Bachelor season. We are so excited. Monday night, we got to learn more about Matt James, and I definitely was impressed meeting him for the first time.
Yeah, I definitely was as well. I was a little skeptical, picking somebody who's never been on a season before
Yeah.
because they don't really know what it's like at all. But I think as the season goes on, I'll warm up to him a little bit. But so far, like he seems like a class act, and like he is there for the right reasons, and he wants to find his love at the end of this.
Yeah, I feel like we talked a couple times on past episodes that I wasn't really sure how I felt about Matt because we got so attached to the other guys from Tayshia's season, and
Yeah.
usually we get a guy from her season, but I am actually happy because you can tell that he is so nervous. He is new to this. Like, he's not here to continue his fame. I don't know. I just really got a good vibe from him on the first night. But can we just talk about when they opened this episode? They started with a clip, and I thought that I missed like the first 20 minutes. And I've
That's what
listened to
I
other
thought.
podcasts that have said the same thing. They were like, wait, did Bachelor just mess up? And they started by showing Kit's entrance, which we'll talk about later. And I was like, this is so stupid to open it this way because so many people are probably really confused right now. But anyways, Matt James is in a way better location than Claire was.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a full-on upgrade, and I saw so many memes about it. I was honestly, I don't care, but I was just like, wow, Claire must be like, well, Tayshia didn't have any choice, but Claire must be like, all right, well, I got like the short end of the stick.
Yeah, I assume it was kind of like not a last minute scramble, but like they had more time to figure out like a location format season.
Yeah,
But
and if
with
you think, oh, I was just gonna say, if you think about where when they recorded, it probably was at the part where we saw numbers finally going down and more businesses were opening. So they probably were able to do more than Claire was because Claire's was like at the beginning of the pandemic.
mhm. Yeah, but we get to know Matt, and if you don't know him, he's a real estate broker from New York City, and he's very involved in like charity. We've seen in the past,
Mm-hmm.
like on his Instagram with Tyler Cameron from Hannah's season, that they do a lot of charity work,
Yeah.
and so I mean that's huge for him. Like he's very involved in the community. Seems like a great guy, and we do also get some insight on his background, like
Yeah. Which we
his
don't know. I mean, we don't know anything about.
yeah, like his family life. His parents are divorced. I believe he said his dad left like before he
At a
could
young
even
age.
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his mom is obviously still around, and she's very part of his life. And his dad was black, and his mom is white, so they have like a mixed household.
Yeah,
Which
he talks
I
a lot he talks a lot about the interracial relationship and all
yeah
that.
yeah
Um, yeah, he is our first male bachelor of color. And then I could be wrong, but I think he's our first bachelor that didn't come from a previous season. We've pulled, I don't mean from the season right before, but I mean in general. Like, he's not
yeah
from a really old season like Ari or Nick, or pulled from just like, he's really has no, right?
yeah.
Would he,
Other than the first Bachelor, yeah.
well, yeah. Oh my God. But I love that we got to meet his mom because, like we said, we've never seen a hometown from him or anything before. So
hmm
his mom, when I saw her, I was like, okay, this is why he's so tall because his mom was so tall. But it was
Yeah.
cute, and I liked their little conversation together. He talks about he's another very religious contestant or bachelor. We
hmm
saw it with Tayshia; she was very into her religion. He's very much as well, and I thought it was interesting that, after we got to know him and him and Chris have hit their moment, and Chris is like, all right, you ready to meet all the girls? They're coming out of the limo. And he was like, no, I'm not ready. Like, can we have a moment? Can we sit down? Like, I'm new to this. And I actually really liked that because you could just tell he was so nervous, which he should be.
Mhm.
He's never done anything like this before. But it was, we don't see a lot of conversation about race. We saw some in Tasha's season, but now that we're in 2021, this is a big topic, and I like that he addressed the situation with Chris. That he was like, I feel like everyone expects me to end up with someone of color, and he's like, am I going to let people down if I choose a girl who is white or has no mixed
Mhm.
background, anything. He was like, I'm used to my mom being white and my dad is black, and I lived in an interracial household. And he was like, and I'm okay with interracial relationship, but am I letting people down if I don't choose a girl of color? And then he also, addresses like he is, I forgot what he said. He's not vulnerable, or he like has a hard time being vulnerable. So he was
Mhm.
nervous about finding love. And I like that we saw that because you don't really see that kind of conversation
Yeah.
before the premiere.
Yeah, I definitely, I guess not surprised, but I didn't expect it, but I did like it. They had a good conversation. I'm sure sort of something similar to that happens every season, but it's not one on
Shown.
camera.
Yup.
So I did like that, and he is so new to this, and
Yep.
he has no clue what to expect and like how this is all going to go. But he did mention, he was like, I think that's a good thing because he's doing this all for the first time with them.
Yeah.
But I also feel like what's tough is like he doesn't know what it's like to be in their shoes. So like he doesn't know what they're
That's
going
true.
through. Like every season, like we hear the Bachelor, Bachelorette, they're like, I've been where you are before and I know
Right.
it's
They're more
tough.
sympathetic too.
Yeah, but I do like the approach he took, that like he is gonna do the whole thing with them. This is all new to
Yep.
him, it's all new to the girls. And I guess we'll see how that goes in terms of forming relationships.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's get to the good part of the limo and meeting all the girls that come out of the limo. Um, do you want to start? Or you want me to start?
You could start.
Okay. So first we have Bree, which Bree I thought was stunning. Her limo entrance, which actually a lot of these girls' limo entrances aren't that like special. I don't think there
Hmm.
were a couple that brought props and stuff, which we'll talk about, but there actually I think were like less props and jokes and stuff than usual. I actually I won't tell who I think are front runners yet. I'll wait till the end. But I really like Brie. Rachel was next who when she walked out of the limo, I also was like, okay, she's stunning. I got a really good vibe from her. I think she'll go far.
Hmm.
And then Sarah, I really also loved her. Good vibes. All these girls are beautiful. They're all very diverse. Um, there are a couple that a lot of people are saying look like similar girls from
Oh yeah.
past, but I do think that there are a wide variety and they're all like stunning.
I do think, well, I definitely do think this is sort of a younger group. Then
Mm-hmm.
obviously we saw, obviously last season was picked for, well, the Bachelorette was picked in terms of the age of Claire, but
Right.
there are a lot of 24-year-olds, 24,
Mm-hmm. We even have a
23-year-olds,
21-year-old.
yeah, in this group. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely curious to see how that goes because Matt James is 29. Yeah, 29. So to have a young group like that, I don't know
Yeah. And
how that
you
will go.
speaking of his age, you know what? This is a sidetrack, but what they didn't discuss at all was that he was supposed to be on Claire's season. Like he's not
Yeah,
completely
he. I
irrelevant.
think. I think he mentioned it to Chris. He was like, "I was supposed to be in that position, but then things change." But
Right.
also on that, they all. I don't know. I guess I liked it because they made it about Matt, but they also didn't mention Tyler at all.
Yep, that too. But which I think that he kind of deserves credit because if it wasn't for Tyler, he would not be on the show. But I
All
think
right.
that maybe they did that so they didn't want everyone to go into it like, oh, this is all about Tyler, all about Tyler, and Tyler's not even on the episode. I'm sure he'll make an app, like he'll come
Oh,
in for an episode for
oh,
sure
I'm sure,
and like
definitely.
help with a date or something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say back to the limos because we got a little off track. You touched on Bree, Rachel, and I think you touched on Sarah.
Yep.
But Abigail, I think she was one of the most powerful uh, women in the first episode. She talked about
Yep.
how she was born deaf, and as she grew up, she got a not exactly what we call it, but a hearing.
Like an implant or something, right? Is that what you're
Mhm,
talking about? Yeah.
which helps her hear.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that whole moment was cute, and she opened up quick.
Yeah.
Like I expect because you talked about in the intros, I expected her to wait a little bit, maybe like the first date or a few nights in, but she did it right away, and that
Mm-hmm.
definitely sparked a quick connection between the two
Yeah, I
when
was a
she
little
brought up to Matt.
nervous. I was a little nervous for her because Bachelor has been known as a show that has a box, and all these girls fall into this box. They're skinny, they're pretty, they're, no disabilities, no minorities, all that stuff. And now they're starting to branch
Hmm.
out. And I was a little nervous for her. Like, will she do well? Will Matt send her home right away because she has a disability? But he totally like took it in, and I
Hmm.
don't think he even saw the disability. It seemed like to me like he saw her and not her disability.
And I saw someone mention it on Twitter, but she is the first uh, deaf person to ever come on the
That's
franchise,
okay. That's what I thought.
which is amazing. That
Yeah.
they're starting to move in the franchise, starting to move into a direction where, like you said, like they're going outside the norm,
Yeah.
which is like no. Let's be real, like nobody is the norm.
Yeah.
So like it's definitely making the franchise stronger.
For sure. Yeah, and brings just more content and like
Hmm.
more relatable stuff to um show. But yeah, limo entrances were quick. I'll let you keep going since I cut you off.
Well, we touched on Abigail, but another one that I know you liked was Kristen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't remember exact. I don't think she had a big entrance.
No, I just think I got good vibes from her.
Yeah, and she was an attorney. So
Mm-hmm.
she's all
Oh,
business.
I know I got good vibes from her. If you saw, it was going on social media for a couple days pre, but some girl tweeted that she was at an alumni event for college with Kristen, and Kristen decided to ride a train or bus, whatever it was, all the way past her destination and stayed with this girl on the bus because she knew that the guy was trying to cheat on his wife with her. And so she was like, so this girl deserves to go far. Like they tweeted
Wow.
about something like, yeah. And I was like, that's pretty cool. So I think that's why I liked her going into it because I was like, okay, she's clearly like a good human being.
Hmm. Yeah, she was definitely well spoken as
Mm-hmm.
well. And then I wasn't catching great vibes from, I don't know if it's Mary or Mari.
I thought it was Mari, and I've heard Mary too. I think it's Mari.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but she's 24. She's a marketing director. As the episode went on, I wasn't getting good vibes from her. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know, but she does seem like the person that will be kept around because maybe she stirs up drama.
Yeah, I think she'll be in drama for sure.
Hmm.
Um, Anna, I did not like her intro video that they showed. I thought she sounded, I think she kept saying like literally, or she just talked really like, I don't know how to explain it. She reminded me of Crystal. Like I couldn't stand listening to her.
Oh yeah.
Then when she came out of the limo, it was like she was normal and she seemed fine. She had the survival kit, which I thought was really cute.
Oh yes.
So then I changed opinions on her, but my first opinion was like, I did not like her at all. Loved Kayla. She showed up in a pickup truck, which was so cute.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that Matt James is from North Carolina or South Carolina,
Yep.
whichever where she's from.
Yeah.
And so she was like, I want to bring some home to you. And that was really cute. I liked that a lot. And
Hmm.
you could tell he did as well. And then Sydney. Okay, she didn't have a memorable entrance, but then when she fell, I was cracking up because she was like, she made a joke out of it. Like she was like, I'm tripping over you or something. And I was like, oh,
Mhm.
okay, that was sly.
Yeah, I don't think we got a
Um,
lot from Sydney in the first episode.
no.
I don't I don't think I can make a prediction yet
Yeah.
on her. We just didn't get enough. But then there was Ilana, I
Yep.
think that's her name, Ilana. She made a bold entrance by kissing Matt. And
Yeah.
we see it like every few seasons somebody kisses
On the first night.
on their entrance. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it is definitely bold of her to do
Yeah, and
that.
you're immediately gonna cause drama, or like
Oh,
someone's gonna call you out on it. But I just want to say she spells her name with one N, and I spell mine with two, and two N's is better. So, um, let's just remember that. But yeah, definitely drama I can see from her.
yeah, and then which it was definitely I would say the most interesting, one of the most
Bold.
interesting and bold uh entrances was Kylie's. She showed
Hmm.
up in lingerie, half naked, with a rack, and she was like, "I don't know what your taste is, Matt, so I want you to pick out
My dress.
like her dress." And so he did. But it was just like that. The girls all saw it from the window. That
Yeah.
is a way to piss everybody off.
Yeah, but also like, I mean, he definitely is gonna remember you. It was an
Mm-hmm.
entrance for sure. I mean, she had a good body, so why not flaunt it? But like, you couldn't pay me enough to do that. Like, you're on national television, just walking up in lingerie, and it definitely you're gonna get judged by those girls for
Uh-huh.
sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely.
Um, Corinne came out of the limo. She was another one that I just like. I don't know. I didn't get any good vibes from her or anything
Was she
special
the
from
one that
her.
came in the football uniform?
Oh. Maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either. I know somebody came in a football uniform.
I think
Um,
she might have been with the I want to be your number one fan or something.
uh, oh yes, so that would have been the football.
I think that was her.
Yeah, yeah, I wasn't a big
Um,
fan.
yeah. She reminded me kind of like Mari. I was just like, I just don't see this girl lasting long.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kit came out of the limo, which I hated her entrance. She showed up in a Bentley, and I was like, all right, this is another girl who's bold and will probably be on a 2-on-1 this season or something.
Oh, 100%.
Hated her entrance, but her mom, which I found out afterwards, is a very famous fashion designer,
Mm-hmm.
Cynthia Rowley. And so she's like actually very relevant. She has so many followers. Her and her mom have like a famous podcast. Like, and she's only 21, which is kind of crazy to me. Um, that's young. Like I was in college at 21. You're 21 this year. Like that's weird.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just not a big fan of going uh that young in terms of who they're picking. I think they should cut it or only let people over like 22 years old because I think 23 you're starting to get to that appropriate age.
You're
But
after
like,
college.
yeah, but like also Matt's 29.
Yeah.
Like he's 29 and you're setting him up with a kid that's in college.
Yeah.
Like
That's
I'd
one way
still
to go.
consider that a kid.
Yeah.
Like,
No, for sure.
and
I
she
feel
became an instant meme on Twitter because of her like her outfit. Everybody was like, that just as a fashion designer's
it was
kid,
awful.
why are you wearing that? Like
It
that's
was
something you show up to like
horrible.
your high school like formal in. Like,
It was horrible. It
yeah,
probably was
I'm
a
not a big
very
fan.
expensive dress and
Oh,
shoes,
I'm
but
sure.
they were ugly.
So I was actually reading somewhere that I think Chris Harrison might have tweeted it. I forget. But Kit, before coming on to the show, she sent like 8 boxes full of clothes to the mansion
Oh, I'm
just for her.
sure.
Like dresses, everything, the whole shebang.
And that's what she showed up with on the first night. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. All right, we have two more people that I think are
Mm,
mentionable. Katie, she's the one who they showed her, and what we talked about in the beginning. They showed her entrance. She shows up
hmm
with a vibrator, and it was okay. The joke was funny. I thought it was funny, but then the girl was carrying it around all night, and it was like when someone tells a joke, and then they just like keep telling the joke over and over and over again,
because
and
they
they
knew it
don't
was
drop it.
funny. Yeah.
Yes. And I was like, you would have looked so much better if you just like let it go after you got inside. But she would not stop. And I was like,
hmm
this is annoying. I was like, I can't listen to you anymore.
And I definitely, I want to know, like, get to know who she really is, because I think she's like one of the prettiest girls in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And, but if she's like annoying, like how she was in the first episode, I don't know
Yeah.
if I'll be rooting for her this season. Um,
How
but
old is she
I,
actually?
I think she
29.
was young. Oh,
No,
really?
she's
29.
29. Yep. All these girls are marketing managers,
Yeah.
they're all marketing.
hmm A
Oh my
lot of them, and like
God.
coordinators.
Marketing
Um,
director, social media, graphic design. They're like all, oh my God, all communications majors.
right? Literally.
And then the last one is Victoria. And I went into it seeing like all the pre-pictures when they announced the girls and everything. And I already knew she was going to be trouble because she was putting down as her job that she was a queen. So I was like, this girl is going to be so annoying. And then she gets out of the limo and does her little skit. And I was like, okay, it would have been cute if, again, she dropped it after that. Like the whole, I'm your queen, you're my king. Okay. But then she gets
hmm
inside and she's like going around calling herself a queen to everyone and wouldn't drop
hmm
it.
And it was, I guess, giving me flashbacks to when Demi was on Colton's season, because she used the queen expression not as annoyingly
Yeah.
as Victoria, but I feel like Victoria 100% took that from uh, Demi. Even
Mm-hmm.
Demi tweeted it. She was like, "You are not the queen, and you cannot steal that from me." So maybe she thought if Demi can go far with it, she can. But
Yeah.
instantly, I was not a fan of Victoria, and I was
Yeah.
extremely cringed by everything she did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Throughout the night, I mean, every time she talked, she just always, it was like she was purposely trying to stir the pot all night and like wanted
hmm
attention and the cameras on her. So I think
Yeah.
she's going to be trouble throughout this season. I think she'll go far, but I think she will be like definitely a 2-on-1 date with someone who like
Oh, I'm
she's
sure.
going to piss off.
Definitely. And we met all of the girls, and it transitions into the cocktail party, and something we have never, or at least I don't think so,
No, I
seen
don't think
done
we have.
before, is what Matt did when he entered the room. He asked all the ladies to like bow their head and say a prayer. And I thought this was amazing of Matt. And then I
Yep.
started thinking from a production standpoint and from a uh, network standpoint, can you do that?
I was wondering the same thing because I think that they can do it, but I think like I was thinking of all the girls who aren't religious that are probably
hmm
now like, shit, I have to be religious for him to like me. Because there are some people that get offended. Like we live in a
Oh
world where
yeah.
a lot of schools don't do the Pledge of Allegiance anymore because it says God in it. So I was actually wondering the same thing, but clearly they're able to because I mean they aired it. Um,
Yeah.
and I didn't see any type of backlash on it. In the past, they may not have been able to do that, like in the early 2000s of Bachelor. But
hmm
yeah, that was like I loved it and I praise it, but I do think it's risky. Religion's always risky,
hmm
and
Well, like
especially
there's
yeah.
definitely some girls in the house that aren't like, they aren't a part of that religion, and they don't,
Mm-hmm.
like, I guess not support it, but like they're just not accustomed to it. And then Matt asked them to say prayer. But I guess then again, you can say a prayer without directing it to a single religion.
Yep. Yep.
But I definitely thought that was interesting, and it was also powerful, and it definitely went a long way with the girls, because we
Mm-hmm.
saw Rachel, she was starting to tear up, and I think you could definitely tell in that moment that like she I guess it's like
connected with them.
yeah, she's real and she definitely supports or like is a person of the church.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, she got
that goes a
asked.
long way.
One of the girls was like, "Wait, why are you crying? Are you really religious?" And I think she was like, "I'm not super religious, but it just like touched me." Which there are people out there like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not super like I don't go to church often and I'm not super religious, but I think I would feel the same way in that kind of position where like I still have a religion and I still pray and I still do all that. And she's probably in the same boat where
Mm-hmm.
she's like, it's not my everyday life, but it
Yeah.
affected her clearly. But when we move into the cocktail party, I don't really think that many girls were. It felt very fast. Like we didn't get a lot of conversations with them. I feel like we got more of the girls talking to each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I definitely think so as well. We did see back to Rachel that she did talk to Matt about that how like powerful that was and how real
yeah,
that was to her. But like you said, we get a lot of conversation between the girls, and one of those girls was Victoria because she continues to like spew on about how she's the queen and everything. And then she goes back in for another conversation
mm-hmm.
with Matt and that pissed off the girls. And then she
Yeah,
kind of started being disrespectful to I'm
yeah.
trying to remember the name, Amber,
It was
the blonde
Amber,
girl.
Amber, and I think like it was to Amber,
Kit,
but there were two other girls sitting with her too that
yeah,
were
Kit.
like,
I remember
whoa.
Kit was right there,
Yes,
and
yep.
I can't remember exactly what Victoria said, but she was just like, "You need to go and talk to him.
Yeah.
Like,
I couldn't
I
tell if
don't
she was
respect
really
you."
drunk or if she's just that annoying. Like, because the conversation she was having was just so out of line. Like, she literally was going up to every girl and was like, you need to go talk to him. Like, I feel bad if I talk to him for the third time because some girls haven't talked to him. It's like, why are you pushing those girls to talk to him? You should not
Right?
want them to talk to him. Like,
The funny, well, we'll get to. I'll bring it up soon, but that she was getting extremely annoying. But then we got a conversation with Matt and Bree, and she began to really open up with him already on night one.
mm-hmm. Yeah, she was super open. I feel like we got a good conversation with Sarah, Rachel. I thought the sweet tea little thing in the chalk with Kayla was
Yep.
cute. And then we saw him with Abigail, which I was totally like not expecting that moment, but they were, she opened up, they were having a conversation, and then you could tell in his face, he was like he wanted to kiss her, and then he leaned in and kissed
Oh,
her, which is first night. You get a lot of bachelors that like don't want to that first night because they're literally just meeting these girls.
yeah. And it's usually the contestant that is going in
Who,
for the kiss,
yup.
and it was all Matt.
Yeah,
And
I
like
think she looked
that's
like she was surprised.
that's where I was like, whoa, night one, that's an instant connection.
Right.
She
Yup.
might go far in this because just by Matt being the one to initiate it.
Yeah, you could tell he was really feeling something between her. He thought she was absolutely, he kept saying like she's stunning, she's beautiful. He ended up giving her the first impression rose, which I
Mm-hmm.
just like did not I thought it was amazing. I was not, like I said
Mm-hmm.
before, Bachelor has a specific frame that they follow, and I just did not think she was getting the first impression rose.
And
I didn't.
nothing was better than when Matt he grabbed the
Yeah.
first impression rose, walked by all the girls, and then like walked by the table with Victoria. And I think Victoria said something
She was
before
getting it.
that she was definitely getting it.
Yeah.
And then I loved when he walked by her and
Her
then
face
her
went
reaction.
blank.
And that's just the best whenever someone's expecting it and then they don't get it. But
Yeah.
Matt, this is where the Matt's starting to warm up on me is
Mm-hmm.
when he's real with these girls and
Yeah.
when obviously we're going to see it soon, but when the relationship progresses. So I'm excited for the rest of Matt's season.
Yeah. I don't know if there was really anything else pretty memorable about the cocktail party. Um, I thought it was funny that Kit called Victoria. She was like, Victoria's a queen, but I'm a king. I'm the CEO. I thought that was kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
But then we have the rose ceremony, and Matt sends 8 of the, is it 32, 38 girls?
32, yeah, which is the
32
most in
girls.
franchise history.
Yeah, yeah, which is crazy. So we had Alicia go home, which I actually was surprised by. She had an intro video, and I thought they gave a good amount of time on her outside the limo, and I was really surprised that she was sent home. She was the ballerina,
Oh, right.
and I liked her. I was surprised. Corinne, I was not surprised about. I
Nope.
had a feeling she was going home. Amani, Amber, Carolyn, Sana, I think you say her name,
Yeah, I'm
Cassandra,
not
and
sure.
Kimberly, which honestly, we didn't really talk about any of these girls. So that's how you
Nope.
can tell that they're
They
first
just didn't
promote.
make an impact at all. And what I was going to mention earlier when we were talking about Victoria and how she said, have you guys talked to these guys? Have you talked to Matt? And they were all like,
Mhm.
no. And all the girls that said no were the ones that got sent home.
Yeah,
So like,
that's
if you're
true.
not going to take an initiative on night one, you're gonna get sent home unless
Right.
you're absolutely stunning and I don't know, but
Yeah.
you have to go talk to them night one, and we saw those who
Yeah,
didn't got sent home.
that's true. I don't think any of those girls I remember sitting down with him.
I think maybe the only one was like Alicia, maybe Amani, I think, but
Yeah, I don't remember.
or also they might have sat down with him. They just don't show it on camera
Yeah, that's true.
because they know we don't really care, I guess.
Yeah.
But that pretty much wraps up the episode.
Let's talk about
In
the
terms
trailer.
and in terms of what happened in night one. But we see in the trailer, this is going to be a not rough season, but emotionally rough. It looks like for Matt. But we do see in the trailer that Heather from Colton's season of the Bachelor, the one who never had her first kiss, which I still don't believe.
I know.
She comes on to Matt's season and she
Yes.
wants to fight for his heart. So that is definitely going to be interesting. And I have a feeling that this was all orchestrated by Hannah B, just because her and Heather are like best friends and she's also best friends with Matt. But it's definitely going to be interesting them sending a previous contestant onto the show.
Which they have done in the past. Like Becca was on an old season. I don't know if you remember Becca from not Becca Kufrin, Becca JoJo's friend. She was on a past season and then she came back for Ben's season as well. But she at the time you didn't see all these like social media mixed relations, all these different friendships of Bachelor people hanging out. So it's definitely different, but we see in the trailer that four more girls show up. Heather is one of those 4. There also is a rumor that one of those girls is, I don't know if you would say an ex-girlfriend, but I guess she, like, when Tyler was dating Gigi, her and Matt like were seeing each other. I don't think they dated long, but I guess like there's photos of them at the New York Fashion Show together when Tyler was there for Gigi. And so, which is kind of interesting that they would bring back an ex. And then, of course, like, I think the Heather thing is really annoying because Heather is best friends with Hannah. And if Heather ever wanted a chance with Matt, she had it before he was on The Bachelor. Like, all she had to do is be like, Hannah, like, introduce me to your friend. So I'm curious if she's really joining this just so she can, like, be back on TV and be relevant again. But I definitely think there's going to be a lot of drama in the show just by meeting the girls. I can for sure tell. And I'm really excited. I already have my like top 4 that
I was just about to ask if you had to pick a top 4 so far for who you think will be in the final 4 for this season. Who do you think it'll be?
I think Bree is a front runner. Rachel. Abigail, I think will go far. Yeah. And maybe. Oh, you know someone that we didn't mention, but I saw her in a lot of the trailer, and that's why I think she goes far, is Serena. She
Okay.
was in, is that her name? Yeah, Serena P. She is in a scene where she says, I'm falling for you on a one-on-one. And that is usually further down. So I think
But
she'll go far.
also, yeah, but you could also have said that about last season when the trailer showed Easy saying he's falling for Tasha and he got sent home like eighth.
That's
I think
true.
I just think she's too young for Matt. She's 22.
Yeah, I don't think she'll win, but I think she could easily be in 4 maybe. Or I would say
Maybe.
Sarah. I like
I was gonna
Sarah.
say Sarah. So I think if I had to pick a final four, I would say Abigail. I'd say Bree as well. Um, I would say Rachel. I think they had an instant connection.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm fighting between Piper and Sarah because I do think Piper could go far.
Brendan really liked her and got a good vibe from her. And
Yeah.
I didn't think anything of her.
Yeah.
Like, I did not like her, but
I don't know. I don't know. I guess I got good vibes from her in the first episode. So I'm debating between her and Sarah. So I'll say a top 5 with Sarah, Piper, Rachel, Bree, and Abigail. I'm definitely certain on Bree. I think she's going to go far because she got a lot of camera time in the first episode.
Yep. However, our opinions may change once they bring 4 new girls on. Because, I mean, in Tasha's season, those 4 guys only 2 of the new guys lasted long, but they didn't make it that far.
Yeah.
So who knows? I mean, out of those 4, one of them may be a finalist.
So another question I have for you is, do you see any Bachelorette prospects out of this group? Because I personally do not.
Not yet. No. If Rachel doesn't, she could maybe, because she fits that bachelorette, role. But maybe, okay, so Sarah is a news broadcaster for an ABC network. So maybe, but you're right. Not yet. I have to get to know them more.
See, I don't think they're going to take the Bachelorette from this group. I still think they are going to pick Hannah Ann. I know she's young, but also how last season ended with Peter. Like, I was not surprised they didn't put her as the last Bachelorette because she was 23, but she would be 25, I think, by the time they start filming the next Bachelorette, and that's who I think could. But I just don't know if I see anybody from this season. They could go Abigail. They could build up on her story, and I'm sure she's gonna go far in this.
Yeah.
I don't really know who else because.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah, but we'll see. But I'm excited for the rest of this season, and hopefully Matt can find love, and hopefully it's not within 3 episodes, so we don't have to go through Claire's whole thing again.
Yeah, hopefully he finds love, because as of recent, there aren't many Bachelor couples left that are together. They're all like, we lost 2 couples in the last week, and
we have lost a lot of couples in these past few months.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy is I read something that 2 couples aren't even engaged, but they're still together, which is Caitlyn and Jason, and Dean and Caitlyn. Like, both couples never got engaged, but they're all still together.
Well, actually, yes, they're engaged now. It's Raven and Adam.
Yep, they're engaged.
I mean, there's not as many as there was probably a year ago, as in terms of together, but like Colton and Cassie broke up. You had Evan and
Carly, which I read, apparently they have been broken up. She hasn't been living together with him for 18 months. Like, back when she was pregnant, they had split in houses, and it's just coming out now that I guess they were like trying to work on it, but like they haven't lived together for 18 months, which is a really long time.
Yeah. But hey, at least Ashley and Jared are still together.
I know. Well, they got married.
Yeah, they got married.
Yeah.
They continue to talk about having kids soon.
Yeah.
So that'll definitely be interesting.
I wonder if Peter will start dating another girl from the season.
Oh, also to mention, which happened this week, actually, like you just said, Peter and Kelly announced that they broke up.
Yeah.
Which I thought they were going to get engaged.
So did I. I did not see that coming.
I definitely think that was interesting.
My investigator skills, like I had with Carly and Evan, I noticed that at the holidays, they didn't spend Christmas together. And at first I thought it was really weird. And then I was like, well, maybe it's because of COVID and they're like trying to keep separate. But they have spent since literally people were mad because at the beginning of quarantine, back in like March or whenever the season ended, they were already seen together and people were pissed because they were like, they're not social distancing. We're in the middle of a pandemic and they're spending time together. And so I was like, I feel like they would still have Christmas with each other's families. Like they've already intertwined families. But yes, I'm very good at noticing. You can tell by someone's Instagram page. And she, over Christmas, like the whole month of December, she did not spend New Year's with him, Christmas, no holidays. I don't even think they spent Thanksgiving together. So they're dropping like flies.
That means his whole timeline is just so one quick and messed up because he went from Hannah B to 30 Girls to Hannah B to Hannah Ann to or technically to Madison. Madison dumped him to Hannah Ann. Hannah dumped him, and then back to Madison, and then to
only
Kelly.
1 year.
It's ridiculous.
Nuts.
I was never a fan of Peter, so I really hope that Matt lives up to his expectation and
I know we need a good
Bachelor franchise back on track.
Yes, we had a great Bachelorette. Now we need a good Bachelor. And I think Matt will do that for us.
I think so as well. But that wraps up everything here on After the Final Rose with Alana and Dante. If you don't already, make sure to follow us on Instagram at ATFR_podcast, as well as Spotify. You make sure Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, other podcast streaming platforms, as well as our YouTube channel where you can watch the podcast videos live. And make sure to like and follow all those so you're notified whenever we post a new podcast or video. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for week 2 of Matt's season of The Bachelor.
Heck yeah, I can't wait.